We believe that healthy people need healthy plants, and in order to have healthy plants, you need healthy soil.
Hi all, we are here at Gaia Herbs. Gaia Herbs?
Gaia Herbs.
We're here at Gaia Herbs Farm in Brevard, North Carolina. My name is Richard Wang. I'm the CEO of NuLiv Science.
And I'm Susan Hirsch. I'm the Formulation Manager for Gaia.
I'm Chase Millhollen. I'm the Procurement and Sourcing Senior Manager.
I'm Jason Wang. I'm the COO of NuLiv Science.
All right, let's get into it, guys. What year was Gaia founded?
1987.
38 years?
That's right. That's right.
What were the early years like?
Well, we moved down here in the 90s, about 97, and started this farm. Our founder is an herbalist and wanted to make good quality products that practitioners could use and would help a lot of people. And he knew that started with good quality herbs. And in order to utilize good quality herbs, you had to grow them at that time, because what it was available was not quality. And in this bioregion, it is one of the most diverse regions in the country and in the world, really, and a lot of species will grow here. So we chose this region and started farming in 97, and we've been growing ever since.
Going back to good quality herbs, we got to see the actual greenhouse, and one example was the Eucaipa. Bacopa, which is an herb that's found endemic in South Asia. However, the way it's grown, there's usually a lot of waste byproduct, and because the herb is 90% water, it's absorbing a lot of that waste byproduct, right? Mm-hmm. So it's really cool that Gaia, you guys brought it in-house, right? Your own growing of Bacopa, right?
Yeah, it's kind of the story for a lot of the herbs that we grow. We tested everything on the market because we have an ISO accredited lab here, and we couldn't find anything that didn't meet pesticides, herbicides, microbial contamination, identity, and that's everything.
Bacopa is a high risk.
So Bacopa was high risk because it grows in ditches in India,
right?
And it accumulates all of the pesticides and the heavy metals and the microbes. And it's intertwined with all the herbs, so it was impossible to find good Bacopa. And you could say the same for the ginkgo and the hawthorn that we have planted on the farm.
Yeah, I think as we've grown as a company over the years, the challenge has been, the farm's about 20%, give or take, of our total demand for herbs. And so my tricky job is to find partners that share the same philosophy we do at Gaia across the world. And so roughly 80% comes from other countries, all the way from Vanuatu, Europe, India, you name it, South America, Central America. So, it creates a very challenging space to work in, but very rewarding when you're working with the best of the best.
How has Gaia changed? What is Gaia like now versus the early years? Because you guys have grown into obviously a very large company. Mm-hmm. I don't know the amount of employees, but this is a huge spread we're on. It's 250 plus acres. There's people out in the field, there's the corporate team, and there's a lot of people now, right, compared to the early days. What's it like now? Well, how has it changed from the early years?
The early years, it was all about learning how the plants grow and when best to harvest, and we did that in partnership with our lab. And then when we started, we made all liquid tinctures, which are liquid extracts made with alcohol. And we extracted the herbs fresh back then. And everything was just manually
labor, right?
Everything was just handmade right here in the farmhouse. And then we gradually started to focus more on extraction and concentration of those liquid herbs. So that the liquid extracts that we made were already concentrated as opposed to a tincture in potency, but then we took it a step further and we concentrated it even more, and we made our liquid phytocaps, which are like a liquid extract with the alcohol removed, but in a capsule. So it remains in that liquid form.
And I think you guys were the first one. You guys probably have a patent on this.
Yeah,
right?
so that was around 2000 when those came out. And we've just been increasing the volume of the plants and the herbs. And we've grown into other formats, powder capsules, gummies, syrups, lozenges, powders, teas, kind of you name it, we've explored that. But we still have our liquid phytocaps at our core.
I laugh because I feed my kids Gaia elderberry gummies
Yeah.
during cold season. Because that's one of the things they'll eat. I can get a gummy. I'm like, yeah, take all you want.
Yeah, when we started doing gummies, we took it really seriously. And everybody laughs at gummies, but we wanted to provide a medicinal strength gummy that could have a potent herbal profile. And we've been pretty successful with that.
Yeah,
sometimes. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say that's some of the challenges. The gummy market is a lot of it's considered candy. The doses are very low, and so sometimes there's flavor challenges. But we're trying to, get through that with like the fruit juices, no refined sugars like cane sugar or tapioca syrup, which you usually see in gummies, and so and try to flavor it with essential
Fruit.
Oils and fruit, basically.
Yeah.
Would you say, for example, your gummies, are you approaching 30-40% actives in the gummy?
Probably not that high, but we use concentrated extracts for the gummies. And then if it's something that's fat soluble, this is really important. Like with turmeric, curcumin's fat soluble. We worked really hard to get a water soluble turmeric into that gummy because the gummy doesn't have any fat for absorption.
What was that process like? Can you share with us?
We found an extract that was clinically studied for bioavailability for water soluble. Yeah.
Oh.
And then also tried to find an extract that was, because turmeric can be pretty strong on the flavor profile. So our turmeric gummies, I think that a lot of people agree they taste fantastic they have pineapple juice in there, apple juice, and then, so it's kind of got like almost a citrus flavor. And so the extract can be very strong, but we found one that was a little bit more muted, and it's certified organic. So it's still clean and meets our
all
standard.
of our gummies are organic.
That was one of the cool things we did when we were doing the farm tour. I believe Gaia is one of the very few, you count on one hand, certified regenerative farming. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we've been regenerative organic certified, or ROC, some people call it ROC, through the Regenerative Organic Alliance. We have an audit coming up in August, so that'll be, I believe, our 4th audit. And that just takes the baseline of organic and takes it up a notch with 3 main pillars. There's animal welfare, a social fairness, and then a soil component to that. And so, being a premium brand for over 35 years, it was just a natural fit to get certified ROC. And we're still on that journey. We're silver certified. There's a bronze, silver, and gold. We're very close to gold. We'll see if we can get past that threshold in August when we have another audit. But as a premium supplement brand, it was just a natural fit, and a lot of things we were already doing, and so that was already being done on the farm. And so now we proved it basically through the standard.
Can you share with the audience why soil health matters when it comes to crops and aka your supplements?
Yeah, focusing on soil health is in part a way to give back to the earth. It's farming like our ancestors did, which, when you harvest something, you also give back to the soil to increase the fertility. And we believe that healthy people need healthy plants. And in order to have healthy plants, you need healthy soil. So it's all about just keeping the momentum going and the regenerative relationship between humans and plants. There's science that is emerging on it, but it's not quite there, that has shown increases in nutrient density of plants when they're grown regeneratively. We're starting to look into some of the secondary components, the herbal constituents that we're interested in, like flavonoids and things like that. They might actually be a lot more present in a regeneratively grown crop than a normally grown crop.
I remember when we're looking at your farms, there was no plastic tarp that we see everywhere, especially in California, right?
Mm-hmm.
I live near a bunch of strawberry fields. It's just, and then when you brought that up, I realized, holy moly, that plastic is being baked in the sun, disintegrating into the soil, being absorbed by the plant roots, and then I eat that fruit or plant. And you can't have that organic, and you 100% cannot have that with regenerative farming, right?
Right.
So that must be something that I wish the audience would know more about, just how important that is, as we learn about, I guess, nanoplastics, all through our body, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's called, plastic mulch is the term that's often used, and that's just laying the tarps down, basically a big sheet of plastic. And so, I think that is a big challenge in the industry, and something that we don't do on the farm, and try to find partners that don't do the same, because you can use like mulch, like wood mulch if you want, or raised beds. There's certain techniques you can use. The easiest route is plastic, but it comes at a cost.
Yeah, we noticed during a tour, everything was a raised bed, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, we live in a temperate rainforest, and so
it feels that warm, folks.
Sweating here.
One of the things that prevents us from getting the gold rock certification is we have to till, because we have to create our beds, and we have to build them up, because it rains so much that if we didn't do that, then the plants would drown as the water's draining. So it provides like some protection, especially for our root crops, so they don't rot in the ground.
You guys grow 20% of your own raw materials, which is huge, because you guys are not a small brand. That's a lot of crop that we saw, right?
Yeah.
But 80% are partners. I remember when we had to get our ingredients QC'd by yours truly here. It was such a laborious process. I mean, to the point where even the solvents are being tested. There's rootstock here, right? Has that always been the case, and what is the thought process behind all of that?
When we're looking for partners, we're looking for like-minded partners that kind of share the same philosophy that Gaia has. And so you guys were a new partner for us. And so, it's kind of an unknown, but I've been doing this 15 years. I kind of know immediately the interactions at the beginning, and usually starts out with emails. But yeah, we will go very deep, all the way to our solvent policy. We only allow organic compliant solvents, which would mean ethanol, water, or supercritical CO2. So you guys immediately, we got into the weeds pretty quick, and so I could tell you guys are very serious and very transparent about your ingredients, and so it was a natural fit. And then usually get the lab involved with a lot of testing, and for your extracts,
and we got the non-GMO certification too.
Yeah, exactly. And we look for like the raw material as well, samples of that, so we can kind of cross-reference that in the lab for testing the root stock for the 2 roots in your extracts, and then with the extract, so we kind of validate both ends of it. And so yeah, it takes many months from start to finish to bring on a new supplier, and then hopefully either visit them afterwards or see them at trade shows to form a deeper partnership with them is the idea.
Regarding the rootstock, so for all your suppliers, you have the original rootstock, and once it gets here, you guys are independently testing this on your own to verify whatever the specifications are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do DNA verification of our herbs, which is we have a DNA standard, and in order to get the DNA, you have to have the raw herb. Right. If it's an extract, it won't have the DNA in there. So and then to get the standard, sometimes we have to ask you where to get the standard, or dig around, because like Panax nota ginseng was a new plant for us, so we had to. I'm not sure where we got the standard from for that, but we work with a few different libraries,
right,
to just validate, because there's trust and then there's validation. We try to trust, and we try to work with people we trust, but we always validate that too.
And going down to the DNA analysis, that's not really common in our industry. How, right? Would you say?
I don't. You tell me. Have you ever been asked for a standard?
Rarely, but it does happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something we've been doing for a long time, and it's something that it's just part of our due diligence, because processed ingredients, whether it's a supercritical extract or a powdered extract like I consider those high risk, and so we need to validate that. And then there's also that trust that you guys are doing it right on the manufacturing side, and then we'll trust but verify everything on our end.
Trust but verify, like the saying goes. Yeah.
exactly.
I would say you guys were probably the hardest company to satisfy from a supply chain quality perspective, but it's well worth it because I tell everyone now, if you gotta take a random supplement out there, you probably if Gaia has it, you probably should buy it just from them because you know it's gonna be exactly whatever's on label. You know it's gonna be it's gonna be that plant or botanical, and two, if it's saying whatever dosage it is, 200 milligrams, 400 milligrams, you know it's gonna be exactly that too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is important for people who take a lot of supplements because there's a lot of synergy, but there's also interactions, right? So you, if you're at that level where you started taking a bunch of stuff, you need to know what you're taking.
Absolutely, and it's going to be produced in the best way possible. You know, humanly imaginable that you can get. I think, at least from my observation.
Yeah, like when we were walking to the farm, I was like, "Are we like at some Michelin star restaurant going on? Like, it's just going into a capsule, which is like mind blowing, right? The amount of care and meticulousness of the entire process itself. I mean, just seeing it firsthand, I wish everyone out there could see it. Because if you did see it, you're like, okay, I'm buying this only from now on, right? Like,
yeah, we take a lot of pride in the soil to supplement story where it starts at the Gaia farm or a key partner across the world, and then it's cleanly processed all the way through, all the way from the solvents to how it's grown to even if we have to use some excipients, those are what we call clean and meets our Gaia standard. We have a very extensive formulation and sourcing standard document that we have our suppliers review as well, just to make sure that they're aligned with how we want them to grow, similar or process similar to how we do it at Gaia Herbs.
And then another thing I think that sets our products apart is we're herbalists founded and herbalists formulated. So the products are put together like an herbalist would, thinking about the physiology that's happening in the person and the energetics of the plants and how they work together, and kind of pulling together a lot of things to meet the achieved effect that you want.
So you guys take a very holistic approach to
Yep.
all the formulas.
Yep. And we mindfully incorporate ingredients from different cultures that kind of have supportive actions for each other. So, yeah.
Yeah, because you have Ayurvedic, you have a little TCM here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have little Carolinas up in here.
Yeah, we have
Western
Native American herbs. We have Western herbs.
So
a little bit of everything.
It's like I guess like what you said earlier, a library of solutions to support a person's health journey, correct?
Yeah.
So.
One of the things I'm really passionate about is how different cultures use different herbs and how they intersect and how they overlap and how they differ, and putting that all together in a fusion type product.
Where do you guys see the future of the supplement space, and what do you guys hope for?
Yeah, I think for me, one of the big reasons I'm at Gaia for the last 6.5 years is transparency. When I started my journey 15 years ago, I've sourced vitamins, minerals, amino acids, herbs as well. And I think one of the big draws for me was the transparency. I used to email Gaia as a consumer, and they would give me a real honest answer back. And
we have it on file.
Yeah. I think my Gmail email is still on file somewhere. Yes. But yeah, I think that's something I hope for the industry is just greater transparency, like on the labels, the way the country of origin. Sometimes that's not as transparent as I think it should be, and we are fully transparent. We think where people should know where their herbs are coming from, how they're grown, and so that's a big pillar for us is just the transparency and hoping that we could inspire others on, Meet Your Herbs platform that we launched many years ago to give people that transparency on the testing, the country of origin, and any other very detailed questions that people ask. Susan gets a lot of those questions. If she doesn't know, she'll ask me, and I'm always loving those questions because I'm like, oh, we got a real because people are asking more questions in general, and then I think it's just it shows that people are paying attention and they want the best quality.
Yeah, people should know what's in their products. They should know how they're extracted, who formulated the product, who grew the product. If is it going to do what it says it is going to do too? That's important.
What is the future for Gaia Herbs? Because I remember we were talking, surprisingly to you guys are only in the U.S. market right now, right? Mm-hmm. Is there going to be international expansion in the future?
Potentially.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it. We haven't gotten there yet, but I know we feel like there's other countries that are doing. I mean, herbalism is in Europe. You know, there's more roots there overall on the consumer side. So I think it's possible in the future, but we just haven't gotten there quite yet.
Speaking of expansion, I remember the farm might expand in the future, correct?
We hope. We're
looking at that. I mean, actually, we have a meeting at the end of this week to talk about kind of the 3 to 5 year plan for the farm and how can we keep that percentage of farm grown herbs to a higher level, so we can keep supporting that vertical integration story.
Yeah, and then on the products side, we just want to scale sustainably so that we can reach more people and have more quality products for more people.
I remember growing up in the 80s, right? Our father would drive to the produce market in downtown LA and come back with flats of wheatgrass. And I think it was Jack LaLanne with his stainless steel juicer. You know, make us eat this stuff, and we hated it, right? As soon as I turned 16, I worked every fast food job possible, right? And it's so cool to come back full circle to work with a brand like Gaia, because it's been part of our background for as long as we can remember. And, you know, we're both certified B Corps, right? I mean, you guys take it even further with Rock, right? Mm-hmm. The cool thing about talking earlier with you guys was the social aspect, right? Just taking care of your employees and everyone that works with Gaia. And I think it's hard to explain. But it's definitely there. It's authentic and genuine. So it's really cool to be here sitting with you guys here on this porch on 250 acres. I wish you guys could see this later. I mean, Jamie will pan over, but like you can see all the farms below. It's absolutely epic. So.
This is kind of above and beyond what those questions are, but I kind of want to know what the origin story was with astragin. Like, what inspired you guys to pursue that ingredient?
So our grandpa he had a stroke. He was alive, but not really. He was lingering on for years, man. And our uncle, who's the founder of NuLiv Science, he threw resources at it, but he couldn't solve it through Western medicine, right? No acute drug or anything like that. So he went down the TCM path, the rabbit hole, right? It's like creating chi, right? Like if you can restore blood flow to the heart and brain, hopefully the brain will awaken, right? Mm-hmm. So it was like that's why we looked at a lot of chi herbs, fire herbs, right? Mm-hmm. So like ginseng's a typical fire herb, right? Mm-hmm. So we did that, and we had this bench of research that we never really commercialized. And it sat there for probably 7, 8, 9 years. And finally, our father came along. He's like, why don't I just take it and Astragin is a perfect example. It's astragalus and Panaxinoda ginseng, right? It's Astra and Gin, right? Mm-hmm. So our marketing team was, run by like someone a little bit older. So it was just the name. So the genesis of NuLiv comes from a really, a place of kindness. So it's that to me is really cool. Mm-hmm. And we had this research. We developed it over time, and we've been working on it forever. And that's where NuLiv is right. NuLiv is at right now. So we're a second generation family.
Yeah, I think a lot of it started with just being curious about what make these herbs tick. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the research was thrown at multiple universities around Taiwan, and we had different universities test for different properties and different herbs. And like Richard said, it just sat there until our father read that and said, "Wow, this is amazing. We should do something about it." And that's pretty much the genesis of the ingredients.
Did you start with astragin, or
it was
what started it all?
They were classified as NL fractions, right? NL1, NL2, NL3. Because they'll look at, for example, like ginseng, right? Like they'll look at 20 different ginsenosides. They're like, okay, if we bring down 9 and leave this one up, it might do something. But if we bring that down and bring this one up, it might do something else. Okay. So a good example is astragin and innoslim. It's the same two herbs, Astragalus membranceus and Panax ginseng, but different constituents, different bioactives. So one's able to actually kind of lower absorption, let's say glucose, whereas estrogen might increase absorption of certain nutrients, which is hilarious. But it's hard to explain.
So I'm a little bit obsessed with TCM, and I'm a little bit obsessed with the gut barrier function.
Okay.
So I found estrogen because I was looking for things that would help with the gut barrier, and I just found it. Our team found it in a Google search.
Wow.
Which is probably good for you to know.
Google still lives on.
Our SEO works, I guess.
Yeah. But then I started looking into the science that you had out there, and I was like, this is amazing, because nobody has taken herbs to that level of science. And it's something that I know that herbs are capable of, but you've demonstrated what they're capable of doing in different combinations. And also just it mirrors both the traditional and the modern aspects, because astragalus and Panax ginseng were traditionally combined a lot. But then you've like really tweaked it and defined what you want it to do with the combination of the extract. And there's, in just a small dosage, it can replace, like with, for gut barrier function, you might do something like glutamine, which takes 5 grams of powder to do. And you have this tiny little dosage that is able to do all these cool things. So it replaces like glutamine, it replaces enzymes and probiotics and prebiotics all in one little dosage.
I think the cool thing about estrogen, for example, like going back to traditional Chinese medicine, right? I remember when Jason and I were little, when we had an upset stomach, which every little kid as parents always has one. We took these little brown pills. They're like pokai pills, right? Mm-hmm. We know in TCM it helps with a stagnant stomach, but like you gotta be a little bit more specific than that, like regarding the MOA, the mechanics of it, right? Mm-hmm. So the cool thing about estrogen is we've been able to see whether it's the cellular in vitro model, animal model, or human model. In fact, in the published human study, we saw better gut wall integrity, and we theorized it's through the mTOR pathway, which on the sports side, we're always talking about mTOR for muscle growth, right? But mTOR is responsible for all cell growth and autophagy, right? Mm-hmm. So if you can have fresh I always butcher this word, epithelial cells lining, right? And the cool thing is we were able to see improve mucosa integrity, right? So instead of having a really thin layer, it's a thicker layer keeping the bad stuff out, right? We always joked it's kind of like being the doorman at a club and not letting, the rowdy drunk folks, and like you had enough, you gotta go on, right?
Did you come up with that? Because we came up with that analogy too.
No, our VP of sales came up with that. He's a very creative guy.
Awesome.
We're like, oh, you look like you're gonna behave tonight. You come in, right? So it's kind of been like that kind of thing.
Yeah, it keeps the party happy and
yeah. But like on a more scientific level, we know that gut barrier integrity is really important.
It's everything.
Keeping inflammation down.
It's everything.
Everything, right?
It's the foundation of your health.
And then we know gut health is tied to like everything, right? Brain health.
It's how your immune system works. It's how your brain works. It's how you get your nutrients and transform it into energy, and it's everything.
And it's composed of over 1 trillion bacteria?
It's 1 cell thick.
1 cell
thick. So if that cell is not performing, then you've got leakiness and you're allowing invaders to come in.
AKA leaky gut, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think that's been one of the really cool aspects of estrogen on our end, is just keep furthering the research on that. And I think the most important thing is just being able to reproduce, at the bare minimum, show similar positive trends at the cell, animal, and human level. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the increases go down over time. We're like, oh, cool, 67% increase in this. And finally, you get to the human model, like 18% increase. But we forget that the human body is so finely tuned that it's always trying to maintain homeostasis, right? So 18% is still great.
What I liked is that you looked at it in a healthy population and then a less healthy population. And you can see how it can help more the more that you need it.
Especially in the population that might have been exposed to a lot of stress.
Everything kills your gut. Everything out there kills your
processed
gut.
Food,
Alcohol,
especially,
stress, bad food.
Bad air. Right?
Yeah, even medications can inhibit that growth and repair. So to me, it's like ground zero for your health. If you did one thing for your health, it would be helping your gut.
Right.
Astragalus is a spleen herb, and the spleen in Chinese medicine helps with transforming food into energy. And so astragin is one aspect of that. It's the absorption part. And then innoslim is the metabolism part. It's the transformation part. So it's so cool that you can get that effect with the same two herbs, but just different combinations. And you can help both sides of the spleen. And a good gut barrier also helps with immune defense. So a lot of people think of astragalus as an immune herb, but that's how it helps. It's helping to reinforce your gut barrier, which is where your immune system is. But then if we get to innoslim, that's like your cellular metabolism. It's helping to protect your mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of your cell. And they don't like a lot of oxidative stress. So innoslim helps to burn energy in a cleaner way so that there's not a lot of extra oxidative stress that causes basically rust your cells. And oxidative stress is kind of the cause of a lot of issues.
Inflammation.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny that you brought that up, like the spleen meridian, right? And like the liver meridian, it's going back deep into TCM.
That's your earth element.
Yeah, right. You know a lot more about this than I do.
I've been studying it for a while. So it's the earth and the fire together, and that's what gives you energy to live throughout your days.
Regarding innoslim, right? The two really cool things I love about it is adiponectin secretion, AMPK, right? So these are two important enzymes and hormones that. Is AMPK an enzyme?
Yeah, it's an enzyme.
Right.
Yeah.
So these are two important pathways. They'll essentially help your body. How do I say this?
Helps your body to create energy.
I was trying to think of a safe way to say it.
Well, I think of it like a fire, like when you have a campfire, you could have a messy, very smoky campfire, or you could have a really clean burning fireplace that doesn't provide a lot of smoke.
You are right, because I have messed with bad campfires.
Like a wood burning stove. A wood burning stove is very efficient. It doesn't create a lot of smoke, and it really heats a whole house. But if you have a campfire, it's just kind of like all over the place.
All over the place, right? I suppose the easiest way to state innoslim will be helping your body use fat as a better source of energy.
Mm-hmm. Metabolic flexibility.
Yeah. Metabolic elasticity, right?
Yeah, because we have a lot of our metabolisms are skewed to run on carbs and sugar, and not as many people can flip over to the fat. And that's what we need to be able to use whatever source we have, and the fat burning pathway is a little bit more efficient.
And of course, for all of us, we're trying to have healthy, normal glucose sugar levels, right? Glucose levels. So innoslim helps supports that pathway. FTC approved.
Yeah, and it minimizes the damage that high sugar levels can do to your body.
How did you guys get your start here at Gaia?
Oh.
Going way back, so we'll squeeze that in.
Well, I have a full circle kind of story. So I came here about 22 years ago. I came to an herbal medicine conference that Gaia sponsored at the time, and I didn't know that herbalism was a thing. And I came to this conference, and I was like, my mind was just blown about the depth. This is where doctors and nurses came to learn about herbs at this conference. And so it's very high level.
This is early 2000s then, right?
Yeah, it's called Medicines from the Earth.
Okay.
And part of that was a farm tour because Gaia sponsored it. So I came to a farm tour here at Gaia and was just standing in with this land, and this land is magical, and it spoke to me, and it's, it made me want to dedicate my life to learning about herbs and helping people with herbs and being around herbs. And so it took me a while to go back to school for it, but I did end up get my master's degree and practicing as a herbalist and nutritionist. And then I wanted to move back to North Carolina, and Gaia was hiring, and I was just like, okay.
How long have you been at Gaia?
10 years now.
1 decade? Wow.
Yep.
And what about your journey, Chase?
Yeah, so my journey started in California 15 years ago in the industry. Yeah, fell in love with the supplement industry. I'm a food scientist and really into clean food, organic, and also just wellness in general. And like I said before, I've sourced vitamins and minerals, amino acids, you name it. Really kind of fell in love with herbs and sourcing that. So that's when Gaia Herbs got on my radar, and just really loved the farm story. I was following them all the way in California, their newsletter, consuming their products. Really liked the transparency part of it.
Emailing us.
Yeah, emailing them, consuming the products, and just wanted to make a big switch, and so moved 6.5 years ago from California out to Western North Carolina to join the company.
I would say being out here for only less than 24 hours, it's a really magical place. I can see the draw for sure.
Yeah.
Especially like if you're tied to just the earth, kind of. If you're kind of grounded, there's a lot of it here, and it's very healing almost, so to
This
speak.
land is magical.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us here. Words escape how impressive this farm is. To see crops being grown and being turned into a supplement, literally from seed to the finished bottle, it's something that you have to see to believe. Words can't explain it. And the whole team here, right? Thanks for having us. Exudes that authentic, healthy, radiant energy that we're here to help, heal, while kind of just enjoying what we do in this life, right? Taking supplements, messing with formulas, herbs. It's like we're like our own little Willy Wonkas of the world out here, right?
I just thank you for coming to experience the magic of the farm and being great partners and producing great products with us and helping to heal people and the planet. It's an important part of our journey as well. So thanks for coming along with it.
I think as the market changes, because we've been in the space long enough to see the market change, you're starting to see consumers gravitate toward authenticity, right? We've seen that with Ghost, right? The same founders 9 years later still. The fact that you guys been here 6.5 years, 10 years, right? You guys didn't meet the farm manager, Jorge. He's been here 25 plus years, right? 28 years, holy moly, right?
Yeah, 30
years, right? All the ginkgos.
33.
Yeah.
So the farm manager has been here 33 years. He's the one that planted all the ginkgo trees. You'll see later in the B-roll. The fact that so many long-timers are here speaks to the volume of Gaia, of how they treat their team and the mission here, right? And it's really important. And as the consumer grows, they're going to appreciate and actually crave that authenticity. They're going to crave that quality more, right? And I think you guys are positioned really uniquely over time to capture an audience that really wants premium herbs. And not necessarily heal something acute, but to help to maintain their health as a preventative measure, right? So we get to our terminal decade healthy still, hopefully still dipping our feet in the creek, right? Walking up and down the farm. And I think all the ethos you guys bring, that's a really cool mission statement that bleeds over, that the audience will see over time. So
Yeah, we really just want to create products that help people connect plants to people and then also support a healthy planet.